Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're diving into a fascinating intersection where ancient yogic wisdom meets modern science to heal one of the most pervasive problems of our time, modern stress. It turns out, simply changing the way we inhale and exhale can profoundly transform our physical and mental health. Let's get right into it. Here's our roadmap for today. First, the power of prana. Then, classical yogic breathing, followed by modern breathwork techniques. After that, we'll look at sequences and daily practice, and finally wrap up with the Bali experience. We're tracking the evolution from ancient texts all the way to daily modern applications. All right, Section 1, the power of prana, understanding the essence of life. Think about your average day for a second. We're always rushing from one task to the next, our minds are completely scattered, and because of this constant go, go, go pace, we literally forget to breathe consciously. We survive on shallow, automatic breaths. To figure out how to reverse this pattern, we're anchoring today's explainer in a really remarkable source text. It's called Therapeutic Pranayama and Breathwork for Living by Sarvadam G. It's this comprehensive, totally practical manual designed to guide us through healing our minds and bodies using techniques refined over thousands of years. Right in the preface, the book poses this incredibly grounding thought. From the very first inhalation at birth to the final exhalation, our entire journey is measured in breaths. It perfectly captures the sacred truth of our lifelong companion, the breath. I mean, it's the single constant action that sustains us, and yet it's the one we pay the absolute least attention to, right? So, you might be wondering, what's the actual difference between basic biology and the yogic science of energy management? Well, breath is just the automatic oxygen exchange, but prana is the vital life force. The text teaches us that by consciously regulating our breath, we're actually regulating the flow of energy throughout our bodies. This is exactly what calms a restless mind and, according to tradition, awakens higher states of consciousness. So it's not just about taking in air, it's about actively managing your internal energy. Okay, so how does this energy actually move around? The classical texts describe this vast network of energy channels known as nadis, along with concentrated energy centers called chakras. Think of your breath physically acting like the ultimate bridge here. When you breathe consciously, you are actively harmonizing your nervous system, basically purifying these ancient energy channels and bringing your body and mind back into perfect balance. Now, before we get into the actual techniques, the manual is super clear that you can't just jump in haphazardly. You have to prepare the container, so to speak. There are 3 simple but absolutely essential steps to prepare yourself. First, maintain a steady spine that allows the energy to flow freely. Second, find a quiet place to minimize those external distractions. And third, ensure you have an empty stomach. Actually, that's exactly why practicing in the morning or the evening is considered highly optimal. Moving on to Section 2, Classical Yogic Breathing, the bedrock of ancient practice. These ancient practices are incredibly sophisticated. They were documented centuries ago in scriptures like the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, and they function basically like an internal thermostat for your body. So if you're stressed and need to chill out, you'd use cooling lunar techniques like Chandrabhedi or Brahmari to literally lower your blood pressure and reduce anger. Sitali and Sitakari can even be used to physically drop your body temperature. On the flip side, if you're feeling sluggish and need some heat, Surya Bedi activates solar energy, while Bhastrika clears the lungs and ignites your digestive fire. It is a brilliant, completely customizable toolkit for your nervous system. And these classical methods get incredibly specialized. It isn't just breathing in and out. You have highly targeted tools for whatever your body needs in that moment. Take Ujjayi, for example. It's widely used because it directly soothes anxiety while really sharpening your concentration. Or Nadi Shodhana, which is fascinating because it physically balances the left and right hemispheres of your brain to melt away stress. You also have expansive techniques like Dirghad Pranayama to maximize lung capacity, internal energy locks known as the tree bandhas, and even highly specific practices like Kekshipa or turtle breathing, which is designed purely to promote longevity and strengthen your immunity. So, looking at all these centuries-old practices naturally brings up a vital question. How does this ancient yogic wisdom translate to our highly scientific modern world? I mean, it's one thing to read an ancient scripture, but how does this hold up under the lens of modern wellness and therapy? Let's look at Section 3, Modern Breathwork Techniques, Blending Ancient Wisdom with Contemporary Science. Well, today, modern science doesn't just tolerate these practices, it totally validates them. It turns out modern therapies are using the exact same life force, the exact same prana that yogis wrote about centuries ago. You've probably heard of the Wim Hof method, right? It's globally recognized for boosting immunity and mental resilience. But the applications go even deeper than that. Approaches like holotropic breathwork or Sudarshan Kriya are now actively used by practitioners to facilitate deep self-exploration, heal stored trauma, and relieve depression. Rebirthing and chakra breathing take it a step further, targeting deep emotional blockages to bring a wave of vitality and just deep therapeutic catharsis to the practitioner. It's a real game changer. The text also draws a really interesting comparison, showing that depending on what you need, the practice adapts to you. On one hand, you might need the massive outward emotional release of dynamic breathwork, which actively combines physical movement with breath to create this incredible feeling of liberation. On the other hand, you might need the highly internal, stabilizing focus of traditional Panchavayu Kriya Pranayama. That one balances the 5 vital airs to harmonize your entire systemic energy. So, whether you need an outward release or an inward balance, there is a specialized breathwork tool designed exactly for you. All right, Section 4, Sequences in Daily Practice. Creating a holistic healing routine. So, how does all this incredible theory actually become an implementable daily routine? Well, the manual lays this out as a progressive, incredibly safe roadmap. It's a carefully structured journey that doesn't ask you to be a master on day one. You start with Sequence 1, a beginner focus purely on safely expanding your lungs and calming your nervous system. Once your body adapts, you gently move to Sequence 2, an intermediate flow that shifts the focus toward actively balancing your energy and boosting vitality. And eventually, when you're fully ready, you reach Sequence 3, the advanced practice, where you safely introduce breath retentions and those internal energy locks. It is a completely logical, step-by-step evolution of your body's capabilities. But here's a truly surprising fact hidden in the source material that you might not expect. The book outlines specific routines called pranayama for the sensory organs. According to the text, these are specialized sequences designed to actively improve your physical senses. We're talking your vision, your hearing, your smell, your taste, and even your touch sensitivity. It suggests that highly targeted conscious breathing can actually clear the pathways to physically sharpen your 5 senses. I mean, that is an absolutely fascinating application of the breath, isn't it? And finally, Section 5, the Bali experience. Taking the practice further. At the close of the book, there's a direct invitation from Sarvottamji. The manual is an incredible starting point for sure, but the text emphasizes that true depth comes through direct lived experience. The viewers actually invited to travel to Bali to completely immerse themselves in the natural energy and secret atmosphere of the island. You can participate in full retreats, become a certified teacher, or even take private sessions through the Mantra Yoga and Meditation School or the Bali Yoga Center. It's the ultimate culmination of everything we've talked about today. The goal isn't just better breathing, it's to use the breath as a tool to discover inner silence, profound mental clarity, and a real lived connection with the divine. We've covered a lot of ground today, from ancient texts right up to modern science. But I want to leave you with an empowering and maybe slightly provocative thought. Knowing that your breath is the ultimate bridge between your physical body and your mental state, what will you do with your very next breath? Will it be automatic, or will it be conscious? Thank you so much for exploring the power of prana with me today in this explainer. Let that question guide your awareness.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to motivate us.